Hi, good afternoon. My name is Maria Cliff, and I work for East West Railway Company. I'm our head of operations, and I am in the customer services team. I've been with East West Railway now for almost 3 years, and I'm really delighted to be able to talk to you this afternoon and tell you a little bit more about our project and about what's coming up in the next few months and years. So we'll move on to the presentation. I'm going to start today by telling you a little bit more about the scheme and about what we're going to do now we've started our consultation, and move on to talking you through our approach to customers and the environment as well. For those of you who aren't aware what East West Railway is, it is a proposed rail link between Oxford and Cambridge. There's been growing support since the Varsity line was closed a long time ago now. And the Oxford to Cambridge arc is a really important economic asset for the UK, and it does make a significant contribution to the nation's prosperity. East West Rail will continue that prosperity, and we hope add real value to the local communities over the next 100 years. There's a significant case for East West Rail. You'll be able to see on the slide in front of you that not only are we going to serve a vibrant mix of communities, currently today there is a lack of transport across the arc itself. We're not just focusing on journey times, but it is important to highlight that once the railway is fully open, we will be able to significantly reduce the journey time between Oxford and Cambridge, but there is a much wider range of benefits as well. The National Infrastructure Commission has found that the ARC's future economic prosperity is constrained by both a lack of suitable housing and also poor east-west connectivity. And earlier this year, the government committed to the first part of our scheme, our connection stage 1. I'll come on to explaining a little bit more about that later. So we are now committed to the Oxford to Milton Keynes services, and there is a significant amount of investment going into bringing this railway back into operation. You can see in front of you there are a number of opportunities that are going to appear as a result of East West Rail. Not just making it quicker and cheaper to get around, but also we are aiming to deliver a net carbon zero railway and leaving the environment in a better state than we found it. We're going to support new homes, and also we hope attract people into the area to live and work and build their businesses. We've had a number of questions around COVID-19 and the impact that it could have on East West Rail. But I think it's really important to say that we are building a railway for the next 100 years plus, and one that we believe can adapt to changing travel patterns, to changing demand and changing customer needs. So we are aiming to deliver a railway that will be able to evolve over time. And really the scheme offers a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to add significant benefits to the communities that it will serve. Who are we and who do I work for? Well, I'm part of East West Railway Company. We were established back in 2018, and we're a growing team, I think it's fair to say. We've got some significant partners joining us, which will extend the team even further and allow us to deliver a great railway. And we have a number of challenges set for us by the government when we were first created 3 years ago, which you can see in front of you. But we are here to drive forward our connection stage 1, and that work is being led by Network Rail and the East West Rail Alliance, and they are delivering the services, the infrastructure for the services between Oxford and Milton Keynes. And then we're also overseeing the remainder of the scheme, which is our connection stages 2 and 3, where the railway we hope will be extended to Bedford and to Cambridge. We have a a vision and a purpose, and our outcomes are in front of you. But our purpose at East West Railway Company is to increase prosperity and improve well-being for communities in the Oxford to Cambridge arc by transforming their everyday journeys. And we are absolutely putting the customer at the heart of everything that we do. And I'll speak a little bit more about that. But our values and behaviours are really embedded in our culture. It's a great place to work. And everything that we do, we test and think about our outcomes to make sure that we're delivering better for the customer, cheaper for the taxpayer, greener for the environment, delivered quicker than before, and of course, a safe and secure railway. So what are our connection stages? Well, our connection stage 1 is 2 services, 2 trains per hour between Oxford and Milton Keynes in both directions. And as I said, this is being delivered by the East West Rail Alliance. Our connection stage 2 is where we extend the services through to Bedford. And we hope that this will also require an upgrade of the line between Bletchley and Bedford. It's an existing line called the Marston Vale line, which does have services on it today. And there is a real opportunity for that line to serve the communities and be fit for the future in terms of additional housing and additional businesses that may be created between Bletchley and Bedford. Our connection stage 3 sees the services from Bedford extended through to Cambridge. We still operate the services between Oxford and Milton Keynes, and there are also some additional services between Bletchley and Cambridge. So we've recently concluded our non-statutory consultation for our connection stages 2 and 3, which I'll come on to in a moment. Our connection stage 1, this is the indicative timeline for the works provided by the East West Rail Alliance, but work is happening right now. It's happening in Bletchley with the Bletchley flyover. So if you're local to the area, you will have seen significant works happening there. And there's much more detail about that on our website and also on the Network Rail East West Rail Alliance website as well, if you're interested. So our non-statutory consultation has recently concluded on the 9th of June, and we ran a 10-week consultation with the local communities, with our future customers, with industry partners and stakeholders from across the Oxford to Cambridge arc. We've had a significant response to the consultation, and thank you to anybody who's watching who took part in the non-statutory consultation. This was our second non-statutory consultation as we move through the process to obtain a development consent order for the railway between Bletchley and Cambridge. The consultation itself contained numerous documents, but we did split it into 2 distinct sections. So the first section was all about railway operations and our customer experience, and the second section was in relation to the infrastructure. And we consulted route-wide on railway operations and customer experience. And we've got some really great feedback from what customers, future customers of this railway, want it to be in relation to their experience at our stations, on our trains, the type of customer information they want, and their colleague experience. So we're taking forward all of that feedback and all of the thoughts and ideas and incorporating that into our design and development as we move forward with the scheme. I should also say that we had numerous channels. So we had our virtual consultation rooms, we held community events online, and then we had specific Q&A sessions. There were documents available to download on our website and paper copies sent out to anybody who requested them as well. So moving on to our next slide. Who are our customers? Well, actually, we've done some work to develop some customer personas, which you can see on the slide. We need to take some time to develop these further, but actually what we wanted to do was to be able to create scenarios where we could test if we were meeting customers' expectations as we were developing the scheme. So we have first-time users right the way through to everyday users, and we test all of our thinking against these personas. And one of the things that we are also looking at is the stage, every stage of the customer journey. So we are outcome-led in our approach, which means we carry out pieces of research and talk to real people to find out what their wants and needs are from our railway. And we apply that research to our thinking for every stage of the journey. So for us, the journey doesn't just start when you step onto our stations or onto one of our trains, but right the way through from when you explore and plan your journey to post-travel as well. We have some really quite serious environmental commitments as a scheme. So net positive biodiversity and net zero carbon commitment. So there are certain elements of the scheme in which we are exploring different traction powers, for example. So we recognise from local communities and their feedback that there is potentially a need for electrification, and it's a question that the railway industry continues to ask East West Railway Company. So our timetable is also under development, which allows us to explore different options for traction power, and also look at our freight opportunities. But we have to balance that against the needs of the local communities and the impacts that freight could have on those communities. Our connection stage 1 does make provision for additional freight paths, and all existing freight on the sections of the route that exist today will continue to be accommodated. But as part of that accommodation, we do have a net zero carbon commitment. So we are considering the emissions, the noise, and the various impacts that the scheme will have through construction and then into operation and maintenance of the infrastructure. And we'll continue to talk to the local communities and stakeholders about how we can best mitigate those impacts. So what happens next? Well, you can see we're developing our route alignment options to move forward to choosing a preferred route alignment. We started with 5 different route options. And we announced route option E as our preferred option some time ago. And we've taken route option E and developed that into the different alignments. And we presented 9 alignments during the non-statutory consultation. So we're now in the process of reviewing those, taking on board the feedback from the consultation and developing that into a preferred route alignment. And then we progress into securing a development consent order, and we hope construction will begin around about 2025. So that's it from me. Thank you very much for your time today. I look forward to answering any questions that you've got. If you would like any more detail, then please go to our website, eastwestrail.co.uk. There's lots of information on there. And we also have various social media channels as well. Thank you. Take care.